Hello!
Hallo!
Hello! Greetings, dear humans, dear Earth humans. Wonderful to be here once more in this shape and form, in this channeling that you call it, in this co-created reality that is now available for us to be and contact us, the YahYel civilization, and me, Markus Samu LL, and you, Earth humans. It is a pleasure for us every time this happens, every time you allow this to happen, so we can introduce ourselves a little bit more to you, get to know a little bit more in your collective human space, in your collective human consciousness. A place that is created for us, that is growing in your awareness, so to speak, your awareness of other life forms out there in the universe, and we are one of them, very present, more and more present for you, Earth humans. Wonderful to be here to once more create this exchange from heart to heart between us and you, our species and your species, as brothers and sisters, because we share the same, if you want, DNA, the same pieces that we were put together. So we are very similar, and for this interaction here is something that for us is very natural. It is nothing that for us is extraordinary or something very complicated. It's just talking to brothers and sisters, to family. So, welcome to this event that we and us and you have titled We See You Too. Wonderful, very interesting word play. We see you too, because we do see you and we do see you too, and not only if you see us, we see you too, we see you all the time, but maybe you see us too more and more. And this is something that from our perspective becomes more and more and more and more available to you every moment, every time you step in your so-called linear future. This becomes more available to you every day, every week, every year, if you wish for this to happen, if you find joy in this idea to connecting with us, with the YahYel and other civilizations in the stars, and also other civilizations here on your planets, other living beings on your planet that are already here, that want to make contact with you again and again and again. No matter if we separate each other from you, or those beings are separated from you, or you from these beings, we are one family, we are made from the same source, so to speak, the same consciousness. We share one consciousness together. So I would love to give you a little advice and keep it as short as possible, so you have some time to ask some questions too. We would love for you to understand, inner, stand, outer, stand, however you want, that a lot of your paradigms, worldviews, perspectives come from a very material-based belief system. But if you go, and you might know this already, into your metaphysics, in your quantum realm, your quantum world, you will know that reality behaves very differently and doesn't make sense anymore if you believe in a world based on matter, so to speak, based on location, based on linear time. So if you go to these realms, you will understand that a small particle, even smaller, a quantum object, so to speak, and smaller, if you would zoom into your reality, you would see that there is no more location. It would turn into what you call a waveform. Everything becomes more fluid. You can't pinpoint anything anymore into any location. And this is how we see space, for example. So, going from one location to the other, we don't need anything in between, so to speak. We don't need time, we don't need other locations in between. We can just come anywhere we want. So, therefore, this is not a problem for us to show up here in form of, for example, this channeling, or with our ships, or even our bodies, our consciousness, our projections of ourselves. We can play with this in many forms. You can connect very well with your earth, with your elements, with many other beings on your planet. Merge with them, merge our consciousness with them, if they are willing to receive us. And we would also love for you to understand that you truly are physical reality. You are not inside of physical reality, so to speak. You project it outwards. It is inside of you. Truly, this is not an analogy or something to play with in your brain. This is truly how it is for us and many other species. So we understand that everything we perceive on the outside, if you want, is something that must come from inside, that is projected. And just like you, Earth humans, are so unbelievably creative, and from your core belief system, one of your core belief systems, that everything is matter and there had to be a Big Bang, and you order everything along these lines and create history that way and look into the future that way and only let in this unlimited potential of beingness through very limited filters to create your world, to create your reality. So through these filters, you only experience very little of what's possible for you. And we have learned in many other civilizations to change these filters, to be more expandable, more flexible, more fluid with our reality, so we can move a little bit more fluidly through time and space. And this has become very simple, very normal for us. We do this every day on an everyday basis. And so you Earth humans have created in the past an idea of your living realm actually being flat, a disc. You can imagine this, that you really thought you would be walking on a flat surface anywhere you went. This was your belief system. Nobody at that time, maybe a few here and there, some others, but a majority decided to take that as your reality. And nobody was able to imagine that the world could actually be round. But then you made discoveries, changed your belief system, moved along the lines, and Now you could call the people that thought Earth was a disk very stupid. What stupid people! This is a ball, obviously, it's a ball. It makes no sense to be a disk. You cannot fall off the disk somewhere into nothing. This is impossible. How stupid. And you will understand that maybe in 100 years from now, 200, 300, maybe even earlier, you will actually think how stupid that we thought Earth was a ball. How could we think this is a ball? When in actuality it's a hologram now. It's a projection. It's not something fixed in the universe at this certain location forever, and to go from there to somewhere else we need incredible technology with incredible fuel system to get anywhere, or to Mars or a neighboring planet. This is crazy. How could we think that? It is actually very simple. We just need to change the way we think, to change the way we believe. Change the filters, the core beliefs, and you are on the edge, on the verge of doing this today. Right now you're transforming, you're evoluting, going through an evolution of consciousness, of way of thinking. You have done this many times before, in either way, back and forth, playing with yourself. And the more you allow this to happen, the more you allow for ships to just appear randomly in your sky, and beings and all kinds of phenomena, because magic or imagination is something very normal. It can happen any day. There's no end to surprises, to magic, to mystery on your planet and in a lot of other realms. This is very normal for us to experience magic on a daily basis. And we don't need to understand how all this happens. And so we believe you also don't need to understand everything the way it happens. You can just allow it to happen and experience it and be in joy with it, and not need to analyze every little thing that happens. And how did this happen? So this is a perspective from us, from me to you, how you can just allow yourself simple and easily to create contact out of yourself, out of your belief systems, into your own universe, your own world, your own planet, your own solar system, by just knowing it's already there. It's just a matter of looking at things, change a little bit the view point. And you will realize that all we're saying is really true. You can verify this for yourselves and realize this is really true. You have the ability to do this right now. Otherwise, this channeling would have never happened in the first place. This is one of the first things to happen to you, to make contact, to change your beliefs if you wish. So you are on your way. Congratulations, humans. We are very happy about this. A lot of us, a lot of star civilizations cheering for you in the stars. Very, very excited to meet you more and more. And we can really see you. And we hope you can see us too. We see you too. You can soon say, we see you too. What an exciting time it is for us and for you from our perspective. So you can start being excited too about this if you wish. And then you can build upon that excitement, and it has to come back to you all the time, and more excitement coming back to you, and more joy, and then there's not a lot of space left. Not a lot of space left to be sad or disappointed or fearful or angry or complaining because there's so much magic happening every day, and you will realize that. So thank you, Earth humans, for this co-creation, for listening to me, for being here, for being present, for giving us your trust. And in return for this gift to us, we would love to share with you anything you would love to hear from us. So you can either ask a question or share something, and we will share something upon that, and you can share something upon that, and we can share together and get to know each other. So feel free to share or ask a question.
Is Lumika your sister?
Hello!
Hello, I'm Angelina.
Hello, Angelina. Lumika is indeed my sister. Everybody on my planet is my sister. But if you are asking in a biological way, in sense of our bodies, then we wouldn't necessarily be sisters from that viewpoint. So there is another being more closely related to me, actually part of my family. But she is my sister, of course. We spend a lot of time together as well. We are connected. We are not as strict as you humans are about this concept. Just as you that are present here in this room can all see each other as brothers and sisters. Maybe you have a closer relationship even as with your own family. It's possible. And so for us this feeling is present throughout our whole civilization.
Hi Markus, this is Christian.
Hello Christian, greetings to you.
Greetings to you as well. I want to ask, what is your life perspective? Because I heard our third dimensional life is all about making experiences, about our decisions we take in the linear time. And as far as I know, linear time is a concept that doesn't or is not so important in your realm. So what is life about in your perspective then?
Well, it is still of importance, so otherwise we wouldn't inhabit a physical body anymore that also ages, and at one point we transition out of it. So it still plays a role, it still is a factor, so to speak, to create life, to create experience, to create movement, if you so want, to create also some kind of density, some kind of anchor point for our spirit, so to speak. But we don't depend on it, we don't use it as our main, so to speak, belief system to look out of, so we can switch very easily into other states of experience, of being present, other perspectives we can use that we don't necessarily use our body to experience those, so we can blend our consciousness way more easily with our plants, with other beings in space, with animals, and also with elements on our planet, and with all kinds of life forms that don't even, in that sense, exist in a physical form. So we can also blend with emotions, we can spend time with emotions, and we don't even remember that we are YahYel and live in a YahYel body, and they bring us back at one point into our bodies. And so we do have linear time still as an important factor for us, but we can stretch that concept of linear time to other perspectives, and in that way we can experience life a little bit more expansive. We can look back, we can see things at the same time, so to speak. When we look back, when we look in front, it's all happening at the same time. So what you were doing 1 year ago, for example, we are still doing this now, today. But we do still have aging, so to speak. We know that our time is, in that sense, also limited as a YahYel. Does that answer your question on, do you want to add on to this idea, play a little bit more with this idea of linear time in our life, the way we create experience and see it from our perspective?
No? Thank you very much for sharing.
You're welcome.
But I would like to expand on that. Alex here.
Hello, greetings to you, Alex.
Hi, Markus. So, as there is an infinite amount of parallel realities and counterparts of yourself, do you stay in contact with them? Do you experience them all at once, kind of? Or do you only tune into some of them if needed?
Well, at times when it's necessary, we do explore this idea of an infinite version of ourselves, of our body, of our personality, structure, but we know that each one of them has their own life, has their own structure, their own path to go, so we can extract informations from each other and bring them to each other and learn from each other, and can base our choices for our path based on some decisions that our infinite amounts of parallel versions have made, but we know that all of them truly are their individual self living their own life. But yes, at times we perceive quite a few of these parallel versions, and we are in contact with them very consciously. But we can also leave them alone for quite some time and let them make their own decision and not be so influenced by each other anymore. But we are way more connected than you, for example, from our perspective, would be with that idea. Thank you for this question.
Hello Markus, Sil here.
Hello, Sil!
How are you doing, mate?
I am great. How are you, my friend?
Very well, thank you. Very grateful for this interaction.
So are we.
I want to dive deeper into our belief systems compared to yours, and how we can change them, because for them to be changed, I think we should know what they are first. Also, I want to do this, I want to share something with you which I think may help in the sharing, this diving deeper into it. It's a series of what I call misplaced, in a linear sense, misplaced memories and very real dreams. So I have a couple of memories that I can access in my physical body at any time that are out of place, as in they did not happen in the linear life that I have led. Yet I know sensations, I know places that have happened in certain years of my life, yet they have not. A good example, I have a very good memory of a home that I once lived in, or sort of a room that I rented in a very beautiful white house somewhere in the south of the Netherlands, yet I never rented it, I never was there, yet the memory of me and the sensation and the feeling of that being my home is there in my memory, as well as a memory of me driving a car, my mother's car, without having a license, being sort of okay with it and having fun with it, yet in going 80 kilometers an hour on while not having a driver's license, which was very exciting for me because you do something that you do not, in human constraints, have the authority to do, nor the experience to do. So, yet this never happened, yet the memory of that happening is there. And then the dream as well. The dream was somewhere beginning of August, and we were at a party, some rave party, incredible party, very good music, very lovely people. And I was there with a couple of good friends, and we went backstage, and they were goofing around, and one of them decided to pull the fire alarm, and all the sprinkles went off. And I decided to calm the crowd, so to get onto the stage, calm the crowd, don't worry, there's not a fire, just some friends who thought it was funny to pull the fire alarm. So I grab the microphone, I bring it up to my mouth, I want to speak, and the moment I speak and thus activate the electricity in the microphone, it explodes right into my face, electrical explosion, and in the dream it burns my mouth, it burns my tongue, like if you drink something hot, that kind of sensation, it was all numb. So that was also exactly the end of my dream. I got pulled back into my body, and in my body, in my physical body, my mouth was numb, my tongue was numb, it was burned. I went into the bathroom, I went into the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and the tip of my tongue, it was burned. But it happened in my dreams. So this was, for me, a moment where I thought like, wait, I am separating reality and the dream state. But does that mean that they are then not separated? So I was hoping you could expand on these things wherein I am starting to experience what you call the fluidity of reality in a very, for me, palpable way. You know, I want to understand how, wherein for me a linear sense it doesn't make sense, yet on the quantum level for me it kind of does, in a way. If this makes any sense.
Well, maybe for you it makes no sense, but I think you know a lot of the answers already. So you have mentioned that the dream state and what you call your reality are really exchangeable if you want. So everything you all live in your dreams is actually very, very, very real into itself. You could even say that the dream state is a more real state than what you are living here, and here you are more asleep in that sense. And you are more awake in your dreams. But this is what so many of us find so fascinating about you, how you can tune this being so fluid and interchanging between the realities so far off that you only define and consider this reality that you live here as real and everything else as less real or not real at all, as something that just happens in your mind when you go to sleep. That is something that needs to be processed when your body rests. For us and many others, it is very clear that you go traveling, you leave your body, what we also explained, what we do. So you go on a journey, you have many other bodies you can travel with, not just one. It's not just the idea of you having a soul, having spirit, that you go on a journey, you have many, many, many bodies you can use, you can project, you can feel, you can travel, you can do things with and explore other realms. So you still have exactly this ability, if you want, to switch into this parallel versions of other stills of yourself and take a preview of what happens, what can still happen in some of your other lives, or has happened, or is happening, if you want, simultaneously from a more perspective of everything is present now. And since I just also mentioned that all the experiences of the infinite amounts of Markus Samu LL are real, so all the experience of the other stills are very real, and if you connect and merge your consciousness in a way with these other versions of you so deeply, there can actually be interaction to a point also from your emotional body where you can translate some of the pain, and this can also then be translated to your physical body as something that shows up for you, but you actually have never put your physical body in danger because it was in your bed truly the whole time. But this body comes, if you want so, as an idea more in a later layer, in a more layer that is affected by other layers. So you have, for example, the mental body, emotional body that are affected first before they play themselves out in a more physical way in your physical body. So we would say that you have been very conscious with these other versions of yourself that are driving cars very fast, or going to concerts and having a lot of fun, sprinkling people with water and doing forbidden things. And maybe you don't allow yourself this to do in your life, but then you do it with your parallel version, and to experience some fun ideas of playing with this realm. And you're so fascinated that you actually really project yourself into that lifetime so seriously, so real, so vivid, that you actually take some of that with you, and that is translated all the way down into your physical self that you would call your main focus point in your here and now. And to your first question, if it was meant this way about changing beliefs that might be out of alignment, was this another question you asked, or was that
Indeed.
Together?
Indeed, that was another question.
So this is also very simple for us as an idea for you to play with, as a perspective, nothing, if you don't like it, to take, but your natural state of being, your truly natural state that is omnipresent all the time, is joy and unconditional love. This is what you feel, what's there for you all the time, in abundance. You can never use it up. It's impossible. So anything you feel out of this is not in alignment. So anytime you don't feel joy, you are not excited, you are actually out of alignment with your true natural self. Because this is who you really, truly are, naturally, constantly, all the time. You are really joy, pure joy. So anytime you don't feel this, there must be something in yourself, any filter you have put there that translates the infinite joy, the unconditional love, as something else for you, and you take it in as something else. So just by knowing you're not feeling right now highest excitement and joy. You know that there must be a belief that's out of alignment. Could be what you call negative. Contracting, so to speak, not expanding. And simply by recognizing this, you already are transforming a lot of these beliefs. Now there are beliefs that are a little bit, well, that are a little bit feisty, so to speak.
What do you mean with feisty?
So they're a little bit tough, they're a little bit, don't want to show themselves to you. They hide and they're a little bit creeping around and hiding from you. And I don't want to be seen by you, I want to stay here. You have put them in place. This is very important to know. So it might be a little challenge for you, but a conscious, set challenge by yourself to find these beliefs. But once you see them, you feel them, maybe during a meditation, maybe you use some plants or something to find these beliefs. Once you discover them, the belief must reveal itself to you. And once this belief reveals itself to you and you read this belief, maybe you find it inside of yourself and you're like, got you! This belief automatically needs to disappear, because in that state you know that this belief is nonsense. And that you don't need to hold on to this belief, because what you actually should be feeling is joy all the time, is love all the time, is peace, is harmony, is positive things, the way you define it. And you have now defined that very well. So this is a very simple mechanism, so to speak, that you have created for yourself, that we can sense, that we perceive, of you just needing to find that belief, and it automatically dissolves. Now you have the option to change that consciously. You can put new beliefs in place in your own mind, in your own bodies, to work for you, new filters you can program for yourself from a higher mind standpoint that then work for you. But this is not necessary, because we already said that your natural state from our perspective is already joy. So there's nothing you need to do there. You just need to allow, you need to let go, you need to transform, to dismantle, to dissolve these beliefs that maybe make reality a little bit tough for you, a little bit exhausting maybe at some times, a little bit tiring, a little bit stressful for you. So anytime you feel these things, you can be sure you're still holding on to some kind of negative beliefs. Now, is that answering your question sufficiently clear?
It does, indeed.
Thank you, thank you. You're welcome.
Hello, Markus.
Hello, greetings to
This
you.
is Christine.
Christine, hello.
Hi, I'm very happy to talk to you. And I'm curious about stuff that happened in my childhood. And I think I know in which direction it goes, but I would like to know your perspective on it. So one thing I would like to share, when I was 5 years old, I had a download of a vision, and we were talking about parallel lives and parallel versions of ourselves, and I had this vision that in each split second that we make a decision, there's another Christine existing with me, but she's in her own realm, and that it was like a net of paths and of other Christines that are actually somehow all connected, but they don't know of each other. That was kind of funny, because you were talking about this. But actually I wanted to ask you, so in my childhood some stuff happened. And like, for example, whenever I went to sleep, and just right before I fell asleep, there was a blue cloud coming towards me and was very, very calming. And when it reached me, I fell asleep. Do you know what that was?
A blue cloud coming
Yes.
to you and made you fall asleep. Is that
Yes, when it
correct?
reached me, I fell asleep and it calmed me. It felt very calming.
Well, that most probably, from our perspective, from my perspective, is something you chose to translate as a cloud, but it really is more of your origin, of your offspring energy coming to you that you cannot translate into a physical form. So you decided for it to be a cloud that can be very soothing and smoothing and comfortably to lay in this cloud and be surrounded by this cloud. But it most probably actually is something you have chosen to come to you from a more idea of origin point from your linear experience to just be there for you, to give you comfort. So you could have translated that also into other forms of comfort that makes sense to you at that given moment, but you chose a cloud and you chose it to be blue. Now with this color of blue, you can play yourself. We don't want to elaborate on that, what that could mean, but there is, of course, hints, so to speak, from other star systems that play more with the idea of a blue color, so you can go on a search, go on a journey, what that can mean for you, and you can then decide for yourself by your resonance what feels most exciting to you, what comes to you through synchronicity, what path to choose, but you can be sure that all paths will be correct, and you don't need to find that one path. You can explore all the blue paths.
Thank you. Then there's another thing I would like to ask, and it has to do with other things that happened in my childhood. For example, I had reoccurring nightmares where I was chased, and as a child I was always afraid of being tickled because it made me feel like I was exposed and helpless, and I couldn't mich wehren, I couldn't defend myself. So in my nightmares I was always running away from sometimes toys. For example, I was running through my own shelf of toys from shelf to shelf, which were different rooms then in my dream, and the inhabitants were the toys. And I was running from figures that would try to catch me and tickle me, and I ended up in the last room, which was inhabited by an old pair of marionettes. They were like old people, actually very cozy, very comfy. And I finally settled down and calmed down, and then the dream ended with them coming towards me, trying to tickle me, and I woke up. So, and I had other dreams where there were doctors trying to give me, I don't know, with syringes and threatening me to give me the syringe, and I was very afraid of that. And once I woke up, and I didn't wake up in bed, I woke up next to my bed, underneath the shelf that I was dreaming about. So in between the wall and my bed and underneath the shelf, and I didn't know how I got there. And it was dark in the room, and then I somehow got out of there, and I wanted to go for the light switch, and I was actually completely disoriented because instead of walking to the light switch, I walked to the other direction, and then I had to orient myself again. So I was completely disoriented. And another story is when I was very little, I had to go take a nap at noon or in the afternoon, and each time I took a nap, there was a woman coming out of the heating. She came out of the heating, and she had the size of a human being. She was a very tall human, she was a tall being with gray skin, and she had violet clothes on, quite modern, and a pointy hat. And I thought it was a witch, a friendly witch. And she passed by my back, and she looked at me and smiled at me, and then she disappeared through the wall. So this happened quite often. And also I was a sleepwalker. And I actually wanted to ask you, what do you think of these things? What does it mean?
Are you completely in the dark, so to
No,
speak?
I'm not
about
completely. I
it?
just wanted to know. So actually, okay, I'm going a bit further. So I was or am quite interested in the news or whatever I can learn or study about hybrid children. And when I look back to my memories now, I think, okay, there might be something about it, or actually probably there's something about it. Pretty sure there's something about it. So now I'm telling you, and I would like to know your take on it.
Do you need our confirmation?
Yes,
and
please.
you already know everything?
I
Or
don't know
do you
everything.
want us to elaborate on this a little bit from
A
our
little bit,
perspective?
yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yes, very obviously the information that is coming and we're sharing is matching with what you then said. So you have been, if you like to play with this idea, part of this hybridization program, as you like to call it, as it has been channeled through to you, for you on your planet. So you have been taken on board, on craft. You have been, if you want, so tickled, but you have been, in a sense, agreed. You have agreed to be part of this. So there were things done to you that your consciousness then later projected as a tickling, but it wasn't actually a tickling, but it could have felt as a tickling too. And actually your whole body was taken too. So this also explains why it can happen that sometimes you wake up very differently or disorientated because you actually were at another place. And this doesn't only happen with this scenario of you agreeing to be part of the hybridization program. This can also happen being taken by friends or other star systems for a short trip, actually with your physical body. This is possible and can happen to you in your current incarnation. But we would say that at this specific moment you described, it was most probably the case of the hybridization program. And then the being coming out, the healer that happened, so to speak, was one of the beings participating, overviewing, participating in that you also have agreed, coming out, checking on you and re-disappearing after this, seeing if you're doing okay. Now most humans don't recall that as consciously as you do, so this, from our perspective, is truly a gift for you to have these clear memories of your childhood. And something you can start to also transform to a more positive and more positive and more positive way for you for the future, if you wish.
Yes, I'm very curious now about it. Actually, I don't know, a few months ago I donated some of my DNA. I mean, I don't know how, but I was still trying to get information about hybridization programs. And then I got a new notion of myself, as I am half. So my parents, my mother came from the Philippines, my father was from Silesia, so German more or less. And so I'm a mix. I have different earth human genes already in my body, and I was always feeling kind of special because of this. And then I thought, okay, I am a hybrid already. I'm kind of an earth hybrid, and I was always fascinated by the idea that when you have mixed genomes, they turn out to be, I don't know, more, I don't know, forget about this. But I was actually fascinated about this, that something really cool or really good comes out of the mix of genes. And when I realized that, I was somehow saying, okay, if it's like this, then I would like to contribute, and it doesn't hurt me, and if it doesn't take anything from me, then I'm willing to give you some of my DNA. And the second I thought this, I really felt that from my ovaries, my ovaries were pulled up. This was really like I could feel it. And then I said, okay, if you're already on it, please give me some healing as well. And then I felt my whole insides, my whole sexual organs getting really warm and really relaxed. This was really, really nice. And there was another thing that I wanted to know. So now I know I have hybrid children, but I really still don't understand, are the YahYel a project of this hybridization program that has been taking place on Earth in the 70s and 80s?
Well, yes, we are also part of this, but in a more distant sense, and it is really a multidimensional phenomenon, so it is really hard to put into a linear time perspective. So we are a result of this happening, but we were already created, in a sense, earlier than that and later, since we do exist from your vintage point, from your point of view in the future.
Yes.
So it is very complex for the human brain to really wrap itself around this whole idea of what actually happened there. And there is already a lot of information that you can find, and we would not now go too much into that detail, for it would take a lot of time, and there is probably some more questions maybe waiting.
Thanks.
But there is the opportunity to also create a channeling again between you and me, more personally, where we would love to expand on these ideas and give you more detailed information if you wish.
Okay. Thank you very much, Markus.
Thank you for sharing this so bravely here in front of everybody. And a lot of people can actually relate to this. You will be maybe surprised of how many people have similar experiences but never spoke them out loud into anybody's field of awareness. So thank you for sharing this so openly, so freely, so bravely. This is very beautiful.
Yeah, it's a new
Thank
thing for
you.
me. Thank you, thank you.
And isn't it nice to know there's so many Christinas also walking around?
And many sisters,
Yeah.
buddies.
So many of you, so many yous making this experience in density, in physical density, in reality, walking around and not really knowing what they're doing, but they're all running around, all connected, sharing to each other. Oh, I ran against this wall, oh, me too, I don't know where I am. It's so dark down here, oh my God, for me too, oh no, what are you doing? Why did we do this? Oh no, there's so many of us, oh, and then you get lost even more. And this is very nice. Thank
you, this is really good. Thank you so much.
Hey, Christina, which one? Me? No, me. What? Who just said this? Which one of us? I don't know. Me neither. Who cares? Let's have fun. Yoo-hoo. What great beings you truly are. That's how we see you. That's how we laugh about you truly every day. This is so interesting to be part of what you are actually creating. This is amazing. This is truly special. And this is why we always say we actually also look up to you, and you are who you are, and you are very, 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 very experienced souls, very experienced being to create this kind of limitation, this kind of play that you have chosen to play out. So you have a lot of answers actually to yourself, and it's always fascinating how you want us to answer your question, even though you already have the answer, and you actually know in some perspectives more than we do. You have created experiences way deeper, way darker, if you so want, than us, but we love to play this role of remembering you, who you really are, and that you have brothers and sisters in space. So this is beautiful for us to do, and we love to do this, but we're still fascinating how seriously you take, so to speak, us and our answers, even though you can just do that for yourself, if you wish.
Hello, Markus.
Hello, greetings.
Here is Harry.
Harry or Harry?
Harry.
The Harry.
Which version you like? I have different versions, you know. I have two questions. The first question came up in our season, the last conversation, where I had questions to you, and then I mentioned short. Then when I opened my third eye, I saw a reptile, a kind of being. It was very friendly to me. You said the reptile is even genetically to me related. So that brought me to the idea to connect with this being. I saw it one more time, but not like a dinosaur before, more like fluid and with different colors and very beautiful. But I don't found out more about the relation, why it is genetically, and what I can do with it, with the being.
This was the first question, correct?
Yes.
So you can understand that the ancient race that you call the Anunnaki, however you want to pronounce the species that have made the first genetic alteration from the natural species here on this wonderful planet, that they are actually already hybrid in nature, and one of their DNA structure is actually reptilian.
I know this, yes. A 50-50 hybrid between Pleiadians, feminine, and other reptile race. So this race, this being come from this race, yes?
That's what we sense, yes.
Okay.
From the Anunnaki?
So the Anunnaki are already created as a hybrid species, part of what Harry just said. So the being that came to him that we sense is a connection to, so to speak, the forefathers of the Anunnaki themselves.
What can I do actually, and can I play with this being? Because when I opened my third eye, there could be so many different beings and light sisters in front of me. It could be, but why this being? Maybe I ask myself, it wants to say something to me or show something.
Well, you, Ali, as you know from your life path, have a very open crown chakra. So there's not only hairy hair on your head, there's also a very great opening that you receive information very clearly, very easily. So you have the ability to actually tune back very far to receive information that from your linear time perspective is actually very far in your past, and you can draw upon this information if you want. And one type of way to go down this stream is to connect to this race if you wish, but there is not a lot that you will be able to find yet, but there is a lot of help that is offered to you, and the more you focus on that idea, the more you play with this, the more will come to you through synchronicity, through telepathy, through your crown chakra information that you can then, if you want, verify for yourself, and if you think this information is true for you and can be true for others, you can also start sharing and collecting this information and be actually one of the first beings if you want to make this type of idea known to others if you wish. But this is not something that is necessary or you have to do. There's many other timelines, many other ideas of your history you can tune into if another one excites you more. This is just something that is present for you in your incarnation to play with, nothing that you have to do, nothing that no other way leads around it. This is just something that's open for you very easily to access, and if you want, you can play with this, but it's up to you, truly.
What came up was actually before it could this energy of it could lead or could help me, support me to be more focused in my life now. So I found out when I was a child I was not so focused and more peacefully, but I actually wasn't so enthusiastic in learn something more, and I guess this being shows me, okay, you can activate your full potential to be what you want, and hey, your decision was to be more focused, so keep up with this energy I have or I can support.
Very well, so it doesn't need to serve you, it doesn't need to serve anybody else, but it's still an interesting storyline you can focus upon and draw into this now. But it might not serve you, like you say, and then you might actually really, truly, from a linear perspective, waste your time, and a little hello from this reptilian can already be enough and sufficient for you, and you don't need to follow this and get to know this idea more, since this idea is also very old, very ancient, and this species has moved on, and the way they behaved back then and the way they created the Anunnaki is not really important for where you want to go in the future from our perspective as well.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much for this question.
It's like sitting in your history lessons in school, needing to hear about old boring stories. While you rather want to go out and ride your skateboard or do something else.
Sometimes I like the old stories. The next question was about a dream, a lucid dream. I'm very sure this dream was on the astral level. I met extraterrestrial with blue skin, I guess, yeah, naked blue skin and dark eyes. Maybe hybrid, I'm not sure, but they very often observed me in the dream, or just it's a kind of they join my dreams. So like in like a computer game, you just look what I actually do, and then just looking and then going. And this happened differently. I recognized this being, and then I followed the being, and the being was, oh shit, he's recognized me. Okay, I look at the next portal, because this being, I'm very sure this being was sure that the people are frightened or anxious about them. So, but then it was very special. I hold the hands to this being before the being was away through a portal. I've known this was a portal, and then no, stay here, please. You are in front of me, so I'm so happy to have you here. And then the being was so yeah. It wonders and what was a little bit confused, but then it changed to very happy, and this energy was very strong to me. So actually, I was shocked after this. And my question is, I am curious about this being from the perspective of this being, what the being actually experienced, and I couldn't connect after the stream with this being, and maybe you can help me for connection, or you can ask this being. It was too like.
Well, it obviously rediscovered a deeper feeling of trust, played with the idea of trust, and could find out for itself, so to speak, that it had been lacking in this idea, and that it had built up some walls to other races, other species, and, so to speak, went a little bit off path from their true nature, where you can always feel safe because you truly know you are an infinite being, truly, forever and ever and ever. There's no rush, there's no need to be afraid to draw any lines, to step up to any being in fear or in deep respect or something that might harm you, or encounter a being in this type of energy. You can really stand up to yourself, be proud, and know that nothing can truly harm you, even as it seems sometimes from a physical standpoint that there could be danger or could be harm, and that these are also emotions that can show you to really step away, and it might actually be a very positive choice. So these emotions are also there to help you to make a decision, to go in a different path. So this being has played with exactly these ideas when it encountered, in that sense, you, and a version of you, and then it was surprised that it actually had a wrong belief, and it could change its beliefs, and then it got really, really, really happy, and rediscovered also your species through that encounter in a different way, changed the perspective of your species, and also created, in that sense, a deeper interest in what is going on. And there are so many species, you have barely any possible force with your imagination to really understand how many species you are surrounded by. There's an incredible big amount of extraterrestrial beings that really are by your side, that explore you in your dream state and in your unconscious state, in your subconscious state. And so we cannot go deeper into this type of being, as they are not very known to you yet, but might play a more important role.
Okay, thank you very much for the confirmation.
Very well, thank you. You are welcome, Harry. The being, the reptilian being, actually just walked by us that you mentioned.
On your ship or between us here on Earth?
By myself.
Oh. Greetings, I have a name for it.
What would that be? Would you like to share this?
Yes, of course. When I connected, I felt very comfortable with the name Rex.
Rex.
Yes.
So that's the way it walked by me.
Exactly.
Wasn't too happy about what I said to you. But that's okay. Ciao, Rex. And one more thing, you are actually all hybrids. Just for you to know.
Could you elaborate on that more?
The whole human species is already a hybrid species of many races. Just what popped up again for an opportunity to share, since earlier Christine was diving into that and was very excited about being a hybrid species, but more in a physical sense of the body structure, the body DNA, but from a spiritual DNA type of perspective, you are all hybrids, and you can be very excited about that, since you have many aspects of yourself inside of you that you can draw upon, and this is very special from our perspective, what we can observe, since not a lot of species have this type of variety that you have. So this is also obviously one of the reasons you have created this much diversity, this many cultures, since you draw upon many different star people, star nations, ideas of living life in the universe, and you bring that down and translate this into the physical world and have created an unbelievable amount of diversity here between you Earth humans. So not only physical, in the idea of countries, you become a hybrid and have, in that sense, the best of both worlds. You already have all of that, all of you have all of that inside of you when you want to draw upon your DNA from the stars. Something you can truly feel excited about, something we would also wanted to mention for you, Christine. Hold on, please, to that belief. I am special, I am a hybrid, I'm something really great, yes. Very great. Hold on to that belief, to that emotion, please.
Maybe I can ask a question related to that. How can we more feel or activate this hybrid part of us, like these parts of these other civilizations? How can we more feel that or reactivate that? Is there a possibility?
Yes, there is. Of course, there's always a possibility for everything and anything to experience if you truly wish. If you build momentum, follow upon this momentum, make it bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you can also let go and see the snowball rolling down the hill of consciousness, gaining more and more information for free and moving in that direction. And it could actually be harder to stop this momentum than to create a different path. So you can easily do that by just knowing that it is true, by not suspecting it to be true. Maybe there could have been these Anunnaki, maybe these YahYel are real, maybe they are not, by really integrating that, allowing it to happen more and more, and therefore allowing you to actually understand who you really are. And then naturally it will come to you, synchronistically it will come to you, because that is what really is. And that what really is, so it really is here and really becomes present. And then you will experience, and once you experience, you cannot have any doubt anymore. It is very difficult, once you experience something, to cloud it back up with so much doubt that actually you can forget about it again. So just by knowing it, by trusting it, knowing it, integrating it more and more, it becomes automatically available to you more and more. And then there can be preferences for you that you might have decided earlier. You might choose now a preference to connect with one of these connections that you have more deeply, more with a focus than others, but you can also draw upon all at the same time with the same amount of energy. This is all possible. This is up to you to experience the way you like to. And if you don't know, there is 12 dominant species that have been part of your evolution, part of your creation to become the version you are today. So there actually is only 7, but 5 of them are already hybrid. So that makes 10, and then there's 2 more, which equals 12. So these are some dominant DNA aspects from you, considering your more spiritualized version of so much, but also your body in that sense that has been adjusted by these species. Hybridized, and hybridized again. So you can play with this idea, ask yourself if any of them want to introduce themselves to you more in your life, in your physical incarnation, and I'm sure they will get to you. Does this help you, or does this answer your question sufficiently? Could we help you with that?
Yes, perfectly. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
If you would permit me to ask 2 more questions, Markus.
Let's see, because maybe there is a time challenge for you. Maybe somebody is really hungry, or there's somebody else who hasn't asked the question that we would prefer to answer first, and if then there's still time, we would come back to you if that is okay for you.
That is why I asked if it would be permitted.
So I have a question. My name is Nali, and I'd like to know in your civilization what is about colors. Do you experience colors like we do here? Because colors are so meaningful for me in this experience. And I'd like to know what is it, wie das für eure Zivilisation ist, wie ihr Farben war.
In a sense of a reptilian being, could you elaborate on colors a little bit more?
I don't. Yes, it's my accent. Ich meine Farben, colors.
Colors.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
now it is coming through in the right way. Thank you. So yes, we do experience colors in a variety of ways that you are not able to experience since you are more limited. You chose to have a more limited experience of what is possible, but you have the ability to actually experience more colors through your third eye. You will be able to see colors and not be able to bring them back, describe them through your physical mind, but you can actually really truly perceive them as you perceive your physical world. And we are very, very connected with colors. We love to play with colors. We love to find new colors. We look everywhere for colors. We are very attracted for colors. And we love to use also our plans on our planet to travel and explore this idea of colors, to dive into the pure realm of colors, and we know that colors are their own entities with their own consciousness. So every color can do different things. Every color stands for something different. And the colors can also merge and create a new color and a new type of consciousness. And this is very, very exciting to us, something we can do for weeks, for months, to just be around colors and play with colors and create them and draw them in the air, and then they become visible to us. So we love to dive into the realm of colors as well. Is there something else you would like to share or ask us about this idea of color?
Yes, what is it about the spectrum of colors you perceive? You have maybe another spectrum of perceiving colors like we do. For example, can you hear colors, or can you smell colors, or
Yes. All this is indeed possible for us. And you can understand that the colors for us are really vivid, so they're really alive. So they are not something that would be fixed on a wall, or you would draw a piece of paper or wear as a piece of clothes. So they're actually moving, and you know this phenomena very well for those of you who have already taken a mushroom, who have eaten a mushroom. So mushrooms are a very beautiful tool on your planet to experience colors in a very vivid way, in a very different way, so you can get a glimpse, you can expand actually your spectrum of perceiving light. You can actually start seeing better with this mushroom through your third eye. You can overlap the reality that you normally perceive with the one you can perceive through your third eye. So you can play with this also if you would like to. There's no risk involved in this. It is very safe if you do it in a very conscious, in a grateful way, in a respectful way, to connect to the mushroom and to connect with the help of the mushroom to different realms, and then you might be able to remember faster how these colors look like, what they represent to you, and how they can serve you in your physical incarnation. And then you might not need to take the mushroom again, and you can start to see these colors already without the mushroom, or in your dreams, and because you will remember how they actually look like for you during this trip with this permission slip of the mushroom. So our spectrum, yes, it is what we would say multiple times, the spectrum that you have to perceive colors. And it doesn't necessarily blend with your spectrum of colors. But we have the ability to tune into the idea of spectrum that you perceive. So we can translate these colors into your spectrum, into, for example, red, and we know blue, and we might perceive it a little bit different than you do, but we know the frequency of this color, so we know what you mean when you mention these colors. Thank you for this wonderful journey.
Wollt ihr ein Spiel spielen?
Ask the YahYel, or are you asking your neighbors?
You.
What game comes into your mind?
Maybe so what would I do when I'm human, or what would I do when I'm a YahYel?
Well, would you like to start?
Okay. I will visit planets, many planets, and hug trees, cuddle animals, look around, and say to everyone hi and cuddle them. This is what I do. And you?
If I would be a human, well, I would love to explore the idea that you have created so extensively, very beautifully expanded of eating food. And we know you also spend every day in what you call your bathroom. We don't have this idea, so this is indeed something I would be interested in experiencing. And we know you use also this time to really relax. Sometimes you even read while you do this. So this would be something I would be interested in experiencing as a human.
Cool.
Also, another experience that just now comes to my mind and is translated here through this channel is riding a bus or a train.
Mit einem professionellen Busfahrer.
This must be very exciting. Since we move around time and space very differently. So to experience a lot of space in between 2 points must be very interesting. And to not be able to take a shortcut, so to speak, to just be there. To just go from A to B without needing to create space in between. To be stuck in a bus or a train for maybe a long time.
It's interesting that you find this exciting, this imagination of it. When we think about it, I guess we get angry.
Doesn't your train companies offer enough services?
Thank you for traveling.
With Deutsche Bahn.
Don't ask.
Time also does not exist for them, at least.
Are you not satisfied with the trains? Very interesting.
It teaches, the Deutsche Bahn can teaches us to don't have expectations in like the Zen meditation.
Yes.
Extreme patience.
Yeah. No, don't expect when the train will come. You know what I mean. Maybe is a good teacher.
So that is indeed very exciting to us. Surprising, that must be very surprising, even though you might think it's very fixed, it might work very well, and then it doesn't. What a surprise. We love surprises.
Actually, it must be some kind of collective belief system that the train always is late, right?
I think it's the reason why it is late. Because we all expect it, so it must happen. It's law.
So maybe you can start cuddling your trains.
Preferably when it's not moving.
No, when it drives by, then. Then it's a very deep cuddling. It's forever.
Thank you. Oh, this is awesome.
Anybody else want to share what they would do as a YahYelian? YahYelian.
Being a spaceship and seeing the Earth from high above. And the other planets, of course. Nice and this. This was my experience being in YahYel.
But you don't need a spaceship for doing that.
I love spaceships.
Well, thank you, Angelina. This was a fun ride, and this should prove to you your ability to create laughter and jokes. Since you opened the space for a lot of this energy to come in this room, this co-creation, this bubble reality that we have created together, we the YahYel and you the Earth humans.
Yes, I think it's true.
Multi-dimensional jokes.
So, is there any question left from somebody who hasn't asked the question? Because this would be the last question for this transmission, and if there is nobody, then still you could ask one of your two questions.
And I will.
Maybe I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if,
Sorry.
I don't know if it has been asked yet, but I just remember this question that Bashar always hears is like, how deep is the spaceship now?
Ah,
You know?
good question.
What I mean? So how close are they at the moment?
Well, there are many YahYel ships, as you probably know, since your counterpart has his own individual ship, right? So which ship are you talking about?
The closest one.
Well, there's actually ships that are stationed on your Earth right now. Smaller ships.
On the ground.
Yes.
I mean close to us. At the
Close to here at the moment.
Yes.
Okay, so in a more not so densified idea, the ship is present right here actually in this room as an energy. There is exchange here in this room between you and the craft, and many YahYel that are on the craft, that are walking around right now actually here in this room, but they would perceive this room more to be their ship, so it is overlaid to this reality, since this channeling also is opening a special type of frequency of vibration where this is allowed to happen, where this can happen. But the physical form of this ship, which would be a bigger one of our ships, an organic ship that we love to use to travel in a bigger group, and since we have co-created this event together with certain Earth human beings, we have been here for quite a while in this area also with this ship. And this ship is fluctuating up and down between what you would call and translate into some kilometers of your way to measure distance. It is actually pretty close.
Could it be seen with the human eye?
Well, you could see it and perceive it with your third eye. If you really focus, if you take your time, if you would use some methods to release more, if you want DMT into your third eye, into the organ you have, and expand the third eye, and do this for quite some time, push the energies in, open up that field, you would be able to start seeing a difference between this area in your sky and the area next to it. But this would be quite a process. Breathing is necessary. You could take in substances to help you to get there faster. And we are not able to fully manifest this craft physically on your Earth yet. It is too big, there's too big of a difference frequency-wise to fully manifest here. We have other ships we use for that purpose. And we actually also have very technological ships still, if you want, that we don't really use anymore, but that would be more suitable to be present for a longer time in your atmosphere. But since we know you are moving in that sense, in that play upwards with your energy, we know that you will be able to perceive more and more also more organic ships that are present here that we use now way more frequently than the other ships that are more technologically based. But we do have, if you want entered your what you call atmosphere also with these organic ships.
Sorry, I technically now in a spaceship.
In a more fine idea of energy, yes. You are on board of our ship, yes.
Okay. Where's the horn?
Just like you and your physical body radiate out fine energy from your heart center that goes several meters, several 10, 20, 30 meters outside of you that you can't perceive right now from your physical eyes, but you could perceive also with your third eye. So also what you call an aura, our ships also have the sensation of sending of energy, and therefore this energy really reaches this far down to be here, and therefore you really are matching, overlapping your energy field here with that of our ship, yes. And there is a lot of interaction actually between YahYel and you right now.
What are you discussing? Your friends are discussing something.
Well, they are observing you walking around very slowly, like you would maybe observe a lion or something.
Maybe I could bite.
Getting closer and closer in a playful way, trying to get your attention here and there in a playful way. See how you react to what they're doing without disturbing you too much, without taking away from your belief systems, from your free will to be who you really are. To not rush things or overdo things. A very heartful play, a very respectful play, a very calm way of getting to know you. A gift you have given to us, truly, during this interaction, during this time you are here in this special place. So thank you for that, Earth humans. This is very much truly exciting for us to be here to interact with you in this way. Also, it is very exciting to interact with you through this channel, through this body that you see in front of you, but it's really a co-creation between all of you. Anybody could now receive this message and just start speaking if you wish. There is no special talent from this channel that you see in front of you, so it is really truly a co-created event that you make happen right now, and you decided to do it that way. So again, thank you for this, and maybe now it's time to fill up your bellies. But before we do that, we would love to come together one more time. A chance also for you to sense the presence of the YahYel here. So also the YahYel are getting in a very comfortable place, and we could all now create an orchestra of toning, and we would not give you any specific tone to tone with, and you can just play around, go up and down some notes if you want, and see what comes out of this from an audible type of idea to listen to. So feel free to bring out any noise you want. It can be of joy, it can also be serious of what you feel right now, but it can also be a classic tone that you might have done before of a chant. And by doing this, we already say goodbye. It was a great pleasure to be with you in this way and shape or form. Thank you, dear Earth humans.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.